Welcome back to Silly Sash ASMR. Hope you're doing really well. Today I wanted to tell you guys a little more about a trip I took recently to England. It was mostly London with some trips out. I'm gonna fiddle with some little toys in the meantime while I talk. Just get some different sounds as well as my whispers and soft-talking. Or is it soft-spoken talking? Soft-speaking? Whichever one it is. So without further ado, I'm gonna also overlay some videos and pictures I took while on my trip. So you get to see where I've been. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I went back in October and got to see a changing scenery in London. It wasn't quite fall. Not everything was yellow and red as I hoped or thought it would be. There was surprisingly a lot of green trees. The first full day I ended up going around the parks and just the city in general and discovering it for myself. I also went on a trip with my mom, so it was just her and I. So we walked around and we came across a lot of birds. There was a lot of different kinds, from pigeons, swans, there were even pelicans, which caught us off guard. I guess London has its different birds. It was a really cool day, and in the evening we walked along the Thames and came across tons of street performers and saw the London Eye and the Big Ben all at night, which was also really beautiful. The next day after that, we ended up going to King's Cross Station. Both my mom and I are big fans of Harry Potter, so seeing some places that are iconic was essential on our trip. So King's Cross was one of them, and we got to see the wall that has the trolley halfway through it. And there was a really big line to take pictures, so we decided to just see it from afar and enjoy the view without waiting for an hour in line to take a picture with the cart. So we were at King's Cross and then St. Pancras, or St. Pancras. Both are train stations near each other. And it was really, really cool to learn about them. We were on a walking tour. We also got to stop by the graveyard where, what was her name? Mary Wollstonecraft is buried. Mother of Mary Shelley. That was really cool. And yeah, the rest of that day I think we just walked around and then we went to a cafe to get high tea or English afternoon tea. And we ended up going to a cafe right next to St. Paul's Cathedral. St. Paul's Cathedral, St. Paul's Cathedral. It was a pretty decently priced cafe considering it was right next to such a historical monument building. And what we really weren't expecting is when we were done with our afternoon tea, we walk outside and see a big crowd standing, waiting in front of St. Paul's Cathedral. A few minutes later, we see the king drive in his car right in front of us. It was actually kind of insane that in the first few days of being in London, we got to see the king himself after our afternoon tea. The epitome of Englishness in that was insane. Timo and I were shocked. I think that same day I also ended up getting myself a Scottish beret. I just really like the Scottish plaid and the patterns and the meanings behind them. And it was really cool to get one for myself. What else? I believe the next day after that, we ended up taking a bus tour, a small bus tour to Oxford and the Cotswolds villages. Cotswolds villages. I've always wanted to see Oxford, and it's just such a classic in both academia and in literature, and just it's the epitome of education. Oxford, it's the first one ever created in England, that is. Maybe ever, I'm not sure. So we stopped by the villages first, where once again I got to have afternoon tea. Apparently in Britain there's a whole debate going on about what to put on the scone first, the jam or the clotted cream. I think that's what it is. To be honest, I thought you just put one on one side, one on the other side, and you smash them together. Didn't realize you do both on one side. It was really, really good though, and since then I've been drinking tea with milk way more often. It was a cool church, and the actual houses in the villages, they're made from the Cotswold stone, which is a local stone, obviously, and that's what all of the old village homes, all the houses were made of. And in order to preserve the historical nature of the place, they are not allowed to build a stone from elsewhere. It has to be the same stone. There was also a very cool detail, not a lot, but some of the houses had thatched roofs, which means they were made from, what is that called? Dry grass, dry wheat. The name of the thing completely escapes me right now. The thing that you would feed horses? Anyway, I forget the name. I'll put the name of it in the subtitles, and yeah, completely escapes me. Anyway, but those were really cool to see, and I actually got to see at one point people fixing it up and putting it together. It's just really cool. Apparently it lasts a long time, but it costs a fortune to upkeep, so not a lot of people upkeep that. Look at this gold bracelet. Hope you can hear it. So then we actually got to Oxford and we walked around. We went into Christ Church College, of course. That's where a few of the Harry Potter scenes were filmed, including the stairs scenes from first and second movies, when Harry and Ron first get into Hogwarts, they stand at the stairs while McGonagall tells them how the ceremony is gonna go, and that they're gonna be sorted into different houses. So in those same stairs they got to stand on. And then the Great Hall Beyond, I don't believe Harry Potter was filmed in there, but they did take a lot of inspiration, or J.K. Rowling must have, from that Great Hall, because the students at Christ Church do have formal dinners in which they wear gowns, and they're served, and there's a whole feast, which is very much like in Harry Potter. The next day after that, we took another walking tour of Westminster. Despite us having already walked around that entire area and us staying in the area, we still wanted to have a historical tour and know more about where the heck we are. And the tour included Trafalgar Square, which was something my mom really wanted to see. It didn't end up being anything special. People talk about it as being a cool thing. Not really. So that was more of a relaxing day. We ended up walking more after that. I actually don't quite remember what we did. But throughout this, we have already been taking tubes everywhere, tubes and buses, which was really fun. And then, like, where I live, the public transport is very well developed over there, which is really cool. So the next day after that, we headed out for another bus tour. This time the bus was only 6 people strong, including us, which was really nice. It meant we had a lot of space. And we went to the Avebury Stone Circle. Then another place. Oh, then we also went to... I keep forgetting the name of the village. Okay, yeah, I remember it. It's the village of Laycock. Funny name, but... and Bath, the city of Bath. So in Avebury, there was a stone circle. Our tour guide was assuring us that it's way more impressive and it's older than the Stonehenge. So we assumed it was a bigger Stonehenge with all of the big monoliths of rocks that were made to be there. Not really. It was really big. The village of Avebury was inside the stone circle, but the stone circle itself was made with just regular rocks that were placed in a circle. So there wasn't anything too special about them, other than the fact that they were in a big circle. But we still had a lot of fun, and we got to walk in a field of sheep, not thinking that there might be sheep poop everywhere as well. It was fun though. Then we went to Laycock, the village of Laycock, and specifically we decided to go into Laycock Abbey, and that is because there were a couple scenes, again from the first few movies of Harry Potter, that were filmed there. Specifically, the cloisters, they were used as the halls for the school, and in reality, cloisters are a square hallway, basically, that goes around in a square, and it was for the nuns to walk around in circles for prayer reasons or otherwise. There are also a couple of rooms in there that were used as Professor Snape's and Professor Quirrell's teaching rooms, classrooms, which was also kind of cool. But the cloisters were definitely the most impressive because of the high ceilings and the architecture surrounding that. The rest of Laycock Abbey we had to walk through quickly since we only had 45 minutes at that stop, and they allot at least an hour to walk around the abbey, but we managed. It smelled like my old grandma's apartment. It was kind of interesting and weird to smell again. And then we went to Bath, and there we actually didn't go to the Roman baths, which is the most popular attraction in Bath. We ended up walking around and just enjoying the beauty of the city. We both liked Bath way more than London, or rather, it was the nicer cousin of London, in our opinion. There was also a river going through the town, and tons of old buildings, but it felt much smaller and with way less people. And, I mean, it's just more quaint because of it. So if we were to choose where to live, we think Bath would be definitely the place. While there, I found out that some of Bridgerton's scenes were filmed at some locations there, which was news to me, even though I've seen Bridgerton. I was buying a teacup at this vendor, and I asked, "Oh, so Bridgerton was filmed here?" Because I overheard other customers, and she was very shocked I didn't know. She seemed very proud of that fact, that it was filmed there. We ended up going to a house of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, something like that. It was a sensory museum, so it didn't have anything of value in it, but it had sounds and the story of Mary Shelley and her works, her origins, her bad luck and a husband, and the children she had lost. It was kind of cool. I had a different type of museum experience. And then in the basement they had a haunted house sort of thing. We walked in and walked around a little bit, and as soon as I saw that there was a person down there, which I wasn't expecting, basically we walked out and I was behind my mom, and I was scared because I heard the person running after me. Yeah, quite the experience. But I thought it was also fitting for October, and that filled my need for going to a haunted house back home. So, after Bath, we went back into London, and that was our last trip outside of London. The next day after that, we took another walking tour. This one was to the Tower of London, along the Thames, and some of the new buildings. And then it finished off at St. Paul's Cathedral. But the good thing about that day was that it was really, really sunny. So after the morning fog dissipated, we got to see St. Paul's Cathedral in the most stunning light. ever. It was insane how pretty it looked at the location we were at. There were people taking professional pictures there. It was crazy. But I really liked seeing all of the new architecture there. Our guide was very knowledgeable about the names and when those buildings were created and just the whole story about them, which was really cool. So I found my new favorite piece of architecture. It is called the Cornichon. I'll insert the picture for that. It wasn't supposed to look the way it looks now, so the name doesn't quite fit. It's supposed to look more Cornichon-y, but it still has the name. I don't know, I just really like it. That same day after the tour, we ended up going straight to, what is it called? Wall Street? West End. We ended up going straight to West End to catch the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child show. Of course, there has to be more Harry Potter. I hadn't seen a professional show in a while. Last one would have been in New York on Broadway years ago. So it was really, really cool to see one now, and specifically the Harry Potter one. Yeah, I just really enjoyed, after rewatching all of the Harry Potter movies before I went on the trip, it was really, really nice to see the continuation, the next part of the story, and not in the written book, but actually live. I really love the way the actors played their roles, and specifically how they used minimal props to create such vastly different scenes. It was insane. So it was money not wasted, even though it was very expensive. But both my mom and I really, really enjoyed the experience, and I would definitely want to go again one day. Then the next day would have been our last full day in London, so we decided to just walk around, visit some places, specifically go onto the roof of one of the buildings we were recommended the previous day on the tour. It was a free rooftop garden. We could go up and just enjoy the view. So we did exactly that, and once again got very, 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 very lucky with the sun. So we got to take pictures of all of the new buildings and the Shard, which was my obsession in the trip. I really wanted to see the Shard, and on my last day I got to finally see it full view. So that was really fun for me. And yeah, just walked around. Went to the Tower Bridge and crossed it, and I think soon after that we just got tired, since we've spent a whole week walking around every day for hours. So we decided to head back to our place and start packing, because we had a very early flight the next day. And yeah, the next day I think we woke up at 5 a.m. because we had to leave by 6 a.m. to get to the airport on time. And it was kind of crazy navigating the streets of London in the AM while everything's dark and there's nobody there. My mom was doubting my ability to guide us back, but I did it. I really enjoyed going on this trip. It was a long time coming for me. I've wanted to go to England for a really long time. London was definitely the top place, but I want to go to other places as well in the future, and I'm really happy that I wasn't disappointed, because sometimes when you really want to go somewhere, you can get disappointed. It doesn't live up to your expectations, but this was more than I could have hoped for ever. So I definitely want to go back and visit some of the remote locations, more villages, because that was my favorite part, the villages. They're so cute. And the rolling hills and the sheep. It was just to live for. I would love to draw while sitting on one of those hills. Paint in watercolors. Yeah. So, even though it's been about a bit over a month now since I went on a trip, it's still in my mind, rent-free, and I keep thinking about it. So, if any of you ever want to go, I highly recommend going. I really enjoy taking tours myself. We found a really good tour guide. So, if you're going without any idea what you want to do, you can totally just book a whole bunch of tours and have fun that way. But if you have specific things, just going and doing whatever you want to do. Go for it. Alright. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's more of a rambly trip video. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you have a good day.